Patrick Combs is an insightful and inspirational speaker, author, actor, and success coach of over 20 years. And Patrick specializes in helping people live their bliss. And with that, I would like to introduce one of my mentors, Mr. Patrick Combs.
Well, thank you so much for starting off the day in a fantastic way. Good morning, everybody. I'm calling in from a different location today. Normally, I'm calling in from West Coast, but today I am East Coast. I am in Florida. I'm on tour for something I love to do. One of the three things I love to do, and that's my comedic one-man show. So if you're in South Florida, so am I. Well, it looks nice and beautiful here in South Florida, but I brought you a story today, and the story is this story is really important to me. This story really explains a lot to me about the difference between any group of people working in any profession whatsoever. Now, before I tell you the story, let's just think about that. What I'm saying is that you could gather a group of farmers, and this story would apply. You could gather a group of home-based business entrepreneurs, this story would apply. You could gather a group of chefs, this story would apply. My own profession, you could gather a group of transformational speakers, this story would apply. Okay, but what's going to be the point of the story? Well, the point is that in any group of people whatsoever, people are working for entirely different motives. Now, just because they're working for a different motive ends up meaning that they have an entirely, totally different, one, experience of their day-to-day work, and two, outcomes. They have entirely different outcomes. Okay? But before I tell the story, let's all be clear. They all face the same circumstances. Have you ever thought about that? Every farmer basically faces the exact same circumstances. You know, they all face the weather, oftentimes the exact same weather pattern. They all face government changes and regulations. They all face taxes. They all face financial crisis, you know, because of regulation changes that cause them all to have to retool their farm in the same way. That applies to speakers. Speakers all face the same challenges. We all start in the same place. In order to get to where we're dreaming of going, we all face the same thing. Not enough time in the day, not enough money in the bank for all the things we wish we could do for our marketing. You know, all of us having to get better on stage, not being good enough on stage. We all face the same thing. Now, I can go through the same list with home-based business entrepreneurs. So the point is, before I tell you this story, they all face the same circumstances, but because they all have a different motive underneath, some of them do far better and experience their day, their work, their job, their life to far greater fulfillment. So the story goes like this. One day this man comes across these three bricklayers. They're building something. They're all working in the same area. They're placing brick on top of brick. And the man says to one of them, he walks up, he genuinely wonders what they're doing. This guy walks up to the first guy and he says, hey, what are you doing? The guy looks up at him and he's got this look of disdain. And he says, I'm making a buck here. Got it. Well, you know, the guy moseys around and he decides to ask the question again. It wasn't a satisfactory answer to him. So he looks up to this second guy. He sees laying bricks. He says, hey, what are you doing here? The guy looks up at him with a look of appreciation. And he says, I'm building a wall. I'm building a wall here. Oh, okay, good. And he wanders over to the third guy and he says, hey, what are you doing? The third guy looks up, big beaming smile on his face, squints in his eye and says, I'm building a cathedral. I'm building a cathedral. There's absolutely no difference in what these three people are doing, but there's a huge difference in what they feel about what they're doing. Who will be there on a cold day when times are tough? You know, who has connected their life to a much bigger and profound vision of their work? The person who's building a cathedral. Now, the same thing goes for home-based business entrepreneurs. You have some home-based business entrepreneurs, truly. What is your big why? What is your big why and what are you working on? You get right down to it and they're trying to make a buck. Okay, that's cool. Everybody's got to feed the bulldog. you know what? If that's your highest motive, you're going to run out of gas, and you're going to hit a wall, and you're going to be passed up and overshadowed by people who have a grander purpose. Okay? Now, the same thing in home-based business entrepreneurs. What you can do is you can find some of them, and they're build. You ask them, hey, what are you doing? And they're like, hey, I'm building this lead generation system. Okay, cool. You know, and they can explain it more. Like, I'm building a lead generation system because my highest purpose here, you know, is I'm going to build a business. Cool, all right. But the grandest purpose you can find in a home-based business entrepreneur is I am here because I am changing lives. I'm genuinely changing lives. Now, in order to change lives, I got to build a marketing funnel. In order to build a marketing funnel, you know, I got to make this whole business go. I got to make some money. But their grandest purpose is to change lives. They're willing to do it one person at a time. Everybody has the same two hands to work with, so everybody's got to lay one brick at a time. But some people are doing it for a much greater purpose. Now, I would just humbly submit that if you really think about this, and instead of just doing what you are about to do today, because you are trying to make a buck, and we know that, instead of just doing what you are going to do today because you are trying to build a opt-in funnel or build the traffic or lead generation or a blog, recenter yourself before you go, before you move on. Just stop and recenter yourself and just take, 60 seconds more, maybe 5 minutes, and think about changing people's lives. Think about a legacy of a person, of being a person who made a footprint of goodness and true change and help and inspiration in a lot of people. But the footprint you left in their heart because of the way you showed up to your business, because of how much love, attention, care, quality, and thought you put into changing lives and embedded into your business process. Just think about that for a minute. Here's the magic. When you think about it, you think, that's right. I really, 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 really want to be about this person who just showed up in the world and did what others don't do. I really set my true north to changing people's lives and inspiring them and making sure that everybody that at least crossed paths was a little bit better because they crossed paths. Nobody walked away from me without feeling like, man, there's a good person, who tried to add to my life or did add to my life. Think about how rich that will make you. Well, it'll make you rich. 2 different ways. I bet you can figure out what those 2 different ways are. Now, having a great brand purpose behind everything you do, having an intention as noble as I'm building a cathedral, changes people's lives. I'm building a cathedral of inspiration. I'm building a business that impacts human beings in a positive way. That kind of motive, that kind of purpose is what I call mighty. True might. See, a long time ago in life, I learned that the only way to build that kind of business, well, first of all, somewhere along the line, it came later, was that the best business in the world to build, the most profitable business in the world to build, the most successful business in the world to build, and the easiest business in the world to build is a life-changing business. As a matter of fact, I'd go so far as to say, if you're not going to be in the life-changing business, look out. You might, I don't know, man. Look out because you're probably going to get beat by somebody who is. But anyway, my real point was, I digress. My real point was, a long time ago, I learned that the only way to build a business is one brick at a time. That's it, one brick at a time. That's the only way to build a cathedral, one brick at a time. It's just got to be done. So that's indeed, in fact, why my partner, Mike Budney, and I took a lot of time and one brick at a time over the course of a year, and now 2 years, built Mike Club. Because we want to change your life. Because we want to inspire you to new levels. Because we wanted you to thoroughly, totally understand that great things happen one brick at a time. But if you're willing to show up and just keep placing one brick at a time in service of your great grand vision and purpose, boom. One day you look up and you go, oh my God, I built a cathedral. And look how many people it serves. All right? So, get in there. Might on, my friend. Rock your day.